Hey guys, this video is going to be a high-level overview of what's essentially the best and only complete funnel that you will need to predictably and consistently blow up your agency's revenue to a million in ARR or even more in the next 6 to 12 months. Now, before I dive deep into the funnel itself, I'd like to start off by motivating why you would need this funnel to begin with. You see, it does not matter if you're an agency owner or a coach or a consultant or the founder of any other B2B business. If you are interested in scaling your business, then you will have to you will have to solve these three core problems, represented here by the three heads of this beast of Cerberus, if you're familiar with Greek mythology. Now, these three problems are that not enough people know you exist. This is, of course, a prerequisite for people to buy from you. If they don't know that you exist, then they can't buy from you. They can't possibly buy from you. So they have to know that you exist. And not only do they have to be aware of you as a one-off, but they also have to be continually aware of your existence. So it's not just a one-off thing. So not enough people know that you exist. That's a problem that you have to face. Another is that not enough people want your offer. What I mean by this is that even if a sufficiently large number of people know that you do exist and they are continually aware of what you're offering in the market, until and unless they actually want what you're offering in the market, they will not buy from you. I mean, this is pretty obvious. And the third problem is not enough people trust you. So even if they know that you exist, they are continually aware of your existence and of your offer in the market. And even if they want and need what you're offering in the market, if they do not trust you specifically, they will not buy from you specifically. Now, these are obvious enough problems, but these are problems that persist regardless of your size and your scale, your margins and your revenue. And you will always have to solve these three problems, and you cannot overlook even one of them. Until and unless you solve all three of these problems, you cannot think of scaling predictably and consistently. And so it's precisely in order to solve these three problems for good that this funnel comes into the picture. Now, you could of course make this way more complicated, but my goal with this funnel is to keep it as bare bones as possible while also effectively solving all of these three problems, ensuring your persistent growth. Now, the way this funnel is structured, it handles all three of these problems at every stage. And only when you dial all of these pieces together will you see the results that you should be getting, the results that you want to be getting. So let me dive into the funnel. And this will just be a high-level overview, and I might not necessarily go into the in-depth details and implementations of all of the different pieces. But the goal of this video really is to just give you, again, a high-level overview of the entire funnel, and then I'll upload more videos in the future, diving deeper into each and every specific segment and element. Now, as you can see, we start with the top of funnel, where essentially, let me take a step back. There's really four main ways in which you can bring in more revenue for your business, be it an agency or a coaching business or a consulting business or a B2B business serving complex solutions to more sophisticated problems. In every case, and this is the crux of this funnel. It's independent of any recent fads or trends, and it is built on timeless principles. And in every scenario, you will only have four essential ways of bringing in more revenue for your business, either through cold outreach. So this would be cold emails, LinkedIn prospecting, cold DMs, and all of that, or inbound through content, or through paid ads, or, and this is often overlooked, affiliate and referral networks. Now, I'll get through to affiliates and referral networks towards the very end. But what I mean by this is just a caveat. I do not mean being a sitting duck, essentially just having your offer and then just waiting for your prospects, your ideal customers, to come to you through your referral network through people that know you passively. No, and this is why you'll see that I've linked this with the cold outreach, because we're going to actively go out there into the world and build an affiliate referral and partnership network to bring in high margin revenue to our business. I'll get to that towards the end of the funnel breakdown. But to start with, let me start with ads, paid ads. This should be relatively familiar to you. Now, paid ads really is a magical way of growing your business. And one of the main reasons for that is not just the scalability, but also the fact that it acts as a very, very reliable indicator of market resonance of your offer. It's a very, very effective way to validate your offer very, very quickly. Now, when it comes to paid ads, you can run a bunch of different paid ad funnels, but really to keep things essential and still effective, there's really four main types of paid ad funnels that you can run. These paid ads funnels, of course, the four different types fit in different ways, as you will see in a bit, into this bigger funnel. But to dive a bit deeper into the paid ads itself, I would say, and this is how I've seen my clients get the best results over the last 3 to 4 years, is to start off with a simple lead magnet funnel, and then when you've slightly validated that you are able to run the the offer has some minimal resonance in the market, so you're seeing actual success with your paid ads using this lead magnet funnel, then I would suggest graduating to a paid product funnel. Now, let's dive into the lead magnet paid ad funnel to start with, and then we'll go through each of these. With the lead magnet, essentially what you're doing is you want the ad to exhibit, as self-explanatory as this is, a lead magnet where when the prospect opts in, they give up their email and their name and not much else, because you don't want to introduce too much friction into this process at this step, because you're already sort of interrupting their experience on the social media platform. So you want this to be as low friction as possible and get them to bite, to get them to opt in to your lead magnet, so that you can start giving them value and start staying top of mind and start establishing yourself as an authority and an expertise and a trustworthy figure in their mind. Now, the lead magnet will then lead to a newsletter. So once they sign up, they opt in, they give you their email, they get immediately added to your newsletter email list, where you can then gradually nurture them with your email flows and educate them and bring them up in levels of awareness, nurture them till they're ready to buy your main service offering, qualify them essentially. And after they opt in, that happens in the later stages. Immediately after they opt in, they will be redirected to a thank you page immediately after they opt into your lead magnet. And in that thank you page, you want to redirect them to a webinar. Now, at this point, I haven't yet gone into how the webinars and the conversion mechanisms and the lead magnets fit into the entire picture, but let me just give you a high-level overview here, and then we'll zoom out and go back to that. This will lead to a webinar, or it could be a workshop, or any other sort of conversion mechanism, if you will. And the goal for you here is to compensate for the lack of friction and the lack of data that you gathered here, because just having an email and having them in your email newsletter does not give you sufficient information about that prospect to qualify them appropriately. So you need more data. You need more data points like their estimated revenue, their company size, maybe their number of employees, depending on the service and the niche that you're operating in. Their phone number, very important, because you want to be able to leverage your appointment setters. Again, we'll get back to this here, and your subsequences and your follow-up sequences here, and I'm sorry, I think I've lost myself here. Right. Because you want to be the phone number is incredibly important, because you want to be able to leverage your appointment setters to then follow up with them, your appointment setters or your growth specialists, to follow up with them to then nurture them onto the later stages of the funnel and qualify them, and so on and so forth. So another thing you could do, another type of paid ads funnel that you could operate, is the paid product funnel, where instead of the lead magnet, which you have is a paid product, and ideally you want to keep the order value of this paid product less than $100. So it could be anything from $10 to $97. 97 is my personal favorite, but I've also experimented with 47 to really bring the barrier of entry, the friction of the process down. But the reason 97 or 95 or 90-ish is so ideal is because you don't just want to stop there. You want to have an upsell built into the ad so that once they opt in, again, just like the lead magnet, they will give up their email and now their credit card information, and they've actually committed financially to buying something from you, which is already a very established level of trust that we've built up with the prospect here. You want to use an upsell to bring that average order value up to at least over $100. This allows you to break even and, in the best scenario, actually get a negative CAC or CPA for your paid ad funnel, allowing you to run it profitably and long term. And then, of course, once they've actually taken the bait and bought into the product and the upsell as well, they will, just like in the lead magnets funnel, be led on to the newsletter, and they will now be subject to your email flows over the next weeks, months, days, whatever have you. And they will again be immediately redirected after they opt in to a thank you page, where again you redirect them to a webinar or a workshop or a conversion mechanism of that sort, where you have this opportunity to enrich your lead list, to enrich your data about that prospect. Now, before I go to the unique transformation, the community funnels, which are, I would say, less important, you can really make a lot of progress with just these two. I would like to, because I touched on lead magnets, I'd like to dive into what role actually this plays in a complete funnel, in this Oxlane funnel. Now, the usual misconception and the usual mistake that so many business owners make is that they have a single lead magnet. The reason that's a disastrous course of affairs is because of this. Let's say you're running a cold email / lead gen agency type of offer. So that's your main offer. And your prospect is here in their current state, looking up at your magnificent, beautiful offer. But you want them to buy because you're convinced that this will get them to the prospect's desired state from their dreams, to their desired state from their current state, But they will not immediately be ready to commit to your main offer because there's so many different objections between where they are now and the image that they have of your offer in their mind. And so until and unless all of these objections are effectively addressed, their buying temperature, the buying temperature of the prospect, will not be high enough, and they will not trust you enough, and they will not have enough resolution in their mind to actually commit to your main offer. They will not be qualified enough. So what you need to do is use these lead magnets as a way to provide complete solutions to these narrow problems, to these micro objections. So for example, in this instance of where you might be running a hypothetical cold email / lead gen agency offer, the prospect might have tons of different objections, doubts, reservations about the effectiveness of the offer that you're peddling. For example, they might be like, how do you even send so many emails without landing in spam? How do I know that the cold emails would even work? What KPIs and open rates, positive reply rates, what should I look out for? What's good? How will my sequences and subsequences and call to actions and copy and subject lines look like? How do I know they'll convert? How can I have a conversion rate optimized copy? How do and can I even find my ICP to reach out to in the first place? How do I then build an effective lead list? Until and unless all of these objections have been addressed and resolved, they will not be at a sufficiently high enough buying temperature to actually commit to your main offer. And so you need to have multiple lead magnets in place that you can deploy periodically over your entire market to actually procedurally address all of these problems. Now, another reason for this is that the prospect on whose social media page, on whose feed your ad actually lands or your content actually lands, and I'll get to in a minute how the lead magnets fit into the ads and the content. We already covered the ads part. I'll get to the content bit in a minute. They might already have solved this problem and this problem, but not this problem. So if you only have a lead magnet that addresses this and this, but not this objection, then effectively you have not resolved all of the objections in that specific prospect's mind, so they will not buy from you. It's going to be very hard to get them to buy from you. Which is, again, another compelling reason that you want to have a whole suite of lead magnets ready, providing complete solutions to specific narrow problems and resolving micro objections that come up in the buyer's journey. Now, how do these lead magnets actually fit into the broader funnel? The way you'll be able to direct traffic to your lead magnets is mainly through paid ads and through top of funnel content in platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Rex, and LinkedIn, and also increasingly through platforms like YouTube, although YouTube also can, if you structure it correctly, and I'll get to that in a minute, play the role of a middle of funnel / nurturing long form content and not just grabbing your attention top of funnel content, although it can also do that as well. You can also do cold outreach and direct traffic to your lead magnets in that way. But I'd like to first start with how you might direct traffic to your lead magnets using top of funnel content. This should be fairly obvious, really. If you've been on these platforms for a while, you know how they operate. You want to provide content you want to generate content that is relevant to your niche, to your target audience, and you want to keep the content actionable, and you want the content to open a loop in the prospect's mind, be it a curiosity loop. Well, it's mostly going to be a curiosity loop that is only closed by opting in to lead magnet. So you don't want to give all of the information away through content alone. You want to give a lot of free value away, yes, of course, but then you also want to leave something that is beyond it's not a paywall in this case, since the lead magnets are going to be free to access. They just have to opt in with their email. So you want to have that minimum barrier in place. So there's actually some curiosity, some intrigue, some want for them to actually fulfill using the lead magnet. And then, as discussed, the lead magnets provide them with, with complete solutions to their narrow problems. Now, another way you can do that is through cold outreach, where you reach out, be it through cold emails or cold DMs, and instead of trying to pitch them on a 15-minute quick call at the very start, you simply cannot afford to do that anymore because sales resistance is at an all-time high in these B2B markets, and markets getting more and more competitive, more and more saturated, and people have heard all sorts of offers all over the place all the time over the last few years. And so if this were like 2018 or 2017, you could have gotten away with it, but you can't anymore. And so you have to start treating your cold outreach as a sort of tap on the shoulder, if you will, where if you're on the street and you want to interact with someone, you tap them on the shoulder just enough. The goal of cold outreach really here is that slight tap on the shoulder to get them to turn and give you a minimum amount of their attention that is just sufficient for you to provide them with some actionable value. And the way you're going to do that is through a very low friction CTA that leads to a Loom recording that's a process that sells you a process, that sells you a mechanism, or some sort of unique transformation. I'll get to what that is exactly in a minute. And you should always have follow-ups in place because most of the money is made in follow-ups. And if they reply, you want to be able to sort those replies using subsequences effectively. You can hire an appointment setter or a VA to do this for you, or you can use specific keyword triggers like yes, no, positive intent keyword triggers to sort the replies in terms of positive replies or negative replies, and then accordingly reply to them and funnel them to your long form content that's meant to be for more of a mature audience, more serious audience, compared to your Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And it's meant to be more long term, and it's meant to be more nurturing because, I mean, let's face it, if somebody's going to watch through 56 minutes of intense B2B training, or like a funnel training, just like this one, they'll only be doing so if they're actually very serious about their business growth. Whereas with top of funnel, discovery oriented platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Rex, and LinkedIn, attention is much cheaper. Now, just to consolidate what we've covered so far, you can use cold outreach, top of funnel content like Instagram, X, LinkedIn, longer form content on YouTube, and paid ads to direct traffic to your lead magnets, which are meant to provide complete solutions to all of the narrow problems that you can imagine a prospect having, so that you increase their buying temperature and get them to climb these mini mountains essentially till they're ready to make a tiny leap commitment to your main offer and commit. And in the process, because they're consuming valuable content from you in the form of lead magnets, and you're being able to provide them with further valuable content in the form of email flows, and you're regularly engaging with them, you're staying top of mind, you will be able to effectively establish authority, expertise, and trust in their mind. And you'll be able to stay on top of mind with a high cadence email flow setup as part of your newsletter because they've opted in for the lead magnets there. And use that to stay on top of mind so that when they do become ready to buy and bite the bullet, they'll buy from you because you've already established trust with them and shown your competence. We've also covered so far how you can use paid ads to funnel your prospects to paid products, upsell them to increase the average order value by a minimum amount, such that you can run your ads profitably and at the very least break even. We've covered how to structure your lead magnets and how the lead magnets should provide complete solutions to narrow problems, and how you should have a suite of lead magnets ready instead of just having one solitary lead magnet that may be a hit or miss for a particular segment of the market. And before I move on to the unique transformations, I'd just like to address 3 core ways in which you can really make sure your lead magnets are as good as possible. And again, this video is not going to go in depth into any of these individual specific components. There will be future videos and trainings and tutorials for that on this channel, so stay tuned for that. But the purpose of this video really is to give you a comprehensive and high-level overview of the entire funnel, so that when you watch the next videos in the sequence, you can see how things really fit in. Right, so before we move into unique transformations and what that really is, and how that fits into, let's say, a paid ads funnel or a cold outreach funnel, I'd like to bring to the fore 3 principles that you should always follow when designing your lead magnets. Number 1, they should pass what I like to call the $50 litmus test, as in, would you pay $50 for this? Would you pay, I would even go so far as to say, would you pay $75 or $100 for this? As in, you should treat your lead magnets with the same level of scrutiny and quality assurance as your paid products, if not even more. Because A bad lead magnet is worse than no lead magnet at all. Because if people opt in with their email and they get this free product, this lead magnet, and it's not good, that will burn your reputation beyond recovery in your prospect's mind, really. So you want to make sure that it's actually something that you yourself would pay money for if you were in your prospect's shoes. And the best way to do that is to get feedback from the market and regularly iterate. Again, you cannot steer a stationary ship. You need to be moving. You need to make a minimum commitment to the market and then iterate based on feedback and feedback loops. Excuse me. And the second thing you want to keep in mind is that your lead magnet should have flow. What I mean by this is that the way that the lead magnet is set up, and I'll make future trainings on this specifically, the writing in the lead magnet, the content, the copy, it should drag the prospect from one stage of the lead magnet to the other, to the other, so that they actually make their way entirely through the lead magnet. They actually complete the lead magnet, because the more time they spend engaging with content from you, be it in the form of top of funnel content or lead magnets, the more mental real estate you're consolidating in their minds, the more you are establishing yourself as an expert and authority, a trustable figure, a competent figure who knows what they're talking about in your prospect's minds, the more you're able to stay top of mind. And so it's only in your best interest that they spend more time interacting with you. Here, you can take the shape of text, copy, videos on YouTube, content on these social media platforms, lead magnets, and so on and so forth, and your paid products, of course. Now, the third thing that you want to keep in mind when designing your lead magnets and to make them as effective as possible in resolving these micro objections and providing as complete a solution as possible to these specific narrow problems is that you want to make sure that even if a large chunk of the lead magnet content or copy is high level overviews or abstract walkthroughs, you want to make sure that you leave them at least 5 actionable tips with every lead magnet that they can take immediately after they finish going to the lead magnet. With these 3 litmus tests in place, you can really ensure that you have lead magnets that will resonate with your market. Now, what do I mean when I say unique transformations? And this appears here in the funnel and in our cold outreach as well, because we can also use that to direct attention to our unique transformations. What I mean by unique transformations really is they will be a templatized version of either a paid product or a free lead magnet. But the distinguishing feature of a unique transformation is that they will actually provide a concrete transformation instead of just dumping passive information in the prospect's mind. Now, if we go back to our cold email lead generation agency example here, this hypothetical, while lead magnets might be addressing these micro objections, a unique transformation would be something like, something like, based on the niche or the service that the prospect is offering, if you're a lead gen agency and you're reaching out to B2B businesses, based on the service that they're offering, based on their niche, you will provide them with 5 different cold email sequences, outreach sequences that they can use to reach out to their prospective clients, ideal prospects. Just plug and play. And you will give them, let's say, for each of those 5 cold email sequences, you also give them subsequences, of course, and follow-ups as well. Now, what that will do is that's something that they can concretely take and implement in their business immediately. And actually, it will give them a transformation. So the transformation would be that they now have a proven cold email outreach copy sequence built out. And the way you can make this more attractive in your prospects is by leveraging the fact that, these cold email copy structures are proven in the market because you've used them to bring outlier results for your past clients. Right, so it should be clear by now that we have addressed the top of funnel and how the lead magnets and the paid products can essentially act as a bridge from the attention that you capture in the top of funnel and connect it to the middle of funnel, which is really your newsletter and your conversion mechanisms like your webinars and your workshops, where, again, as addressed here, you can use these conversion mechanisms as an opportunity to get enriched data about your prospects that you can then use to follow up with them, leveraging your appointment setters and your growth specialists. And I'll make future trainings on how to train, hire, and manage them, all of that shebang. And then you can use that and follow up with them, call them, dial them, send out text messages, text campaigns, and of course email those as well, to really see if they're qualified or not. And this will be a combination of you deciding if they're qualified or not, and them self-selecting as well. Now that we're in the middle of funnel, you have enriched prospect data and you have built up trust and engagement with the people on your email list, your newsletter, using your email flows. Now we're going to address the bottom of the funnel. Now, before we go there though, I'd just like to point out that after the opt-in, most business owners are very hesitant to actually send out high cadence, high frequency email flows, email sequences, because they're afraid that they will come off as spammy. Now, the immediate moments after a prospect has bought from you or engaged with you through a unique transformation or a paid product or a lead magnet, they will never be more attentive towards you. You will never have more of their attention in your hands than in those few moments after they've actually committed to getting something from you, be it by trading their contact information and their attention to get lead magnets and a free unique transformation, or if they've actually paid to get a product from you. And so you want to leverage that heightened peak of attention and send out your first few emails as part of your welcome sequence, really indoctrinating them into your core ethos, your core message. So for me, for example, this would be that businesses have to solve these 3 core problems if they want to scale. And I want to hammer that point home to them as much as possible in that welcome sequence. I might send out like 3, 4, 5 different emails in that first day, 2 immediately after they sign up, and then maybe 2 more at the end of the day and 1 more the next day. Reiterating and echoing the same point, really driving it home in their minds, increasing the exposure that they have to this core idea of my offering, effectively bringing them into my way of thinking so they're primed to buy from me in the future. And this is something that you do as well. And so if you ever opt into any of my lead magnets or my paid product or my conversion mechanisms, you will see this same core message reiterated throughout my landing pages and my email sequences. Because really, I do believe this, and this is true. And not only is this effective in terms of priming people to buy, but it is also a fact, a non-negotiable fact. You will have to solve these 3 problems. There is no business on the face of the planet that can get away with not solving all 3 of these. Now, in your bottom of funnel, this should be fairly self-explanatory, and I won't spend too much time here. In your bottom of funnel, you have been able to qualify your prospects, and then if they are qualified and they book a call, then of course you can leverage pre-call nurture flows to minimize the no-show rates and then get them on a call. Then again, pre-call nurture flows if you want to do a two-call close to get them on a demo call and then close. if at any point in this journey at the bottom of funnel they do not qualify or they do not close, you don't want to just let them go. This is the biggest mistake that I see tons of business owners making. Tons of my past clients have made the same mistake, and they're effectively sacrificing 50 to 60%, sometimes even 70% of potential revenue. It's just bonkers. Just because they're not qualified at this point in time to buy your main offering does not mean that they are structurally incapable of buying from you forever. They're only unqualified in the most superficial sense of the word. Instead, what you can do is redirect them to other ancillary offers that you have available in addition to your core offer. These could be high ticket courses, group coachings, one-on-one coaching, even anything that gives them a watered down version of your main service offering to provide a soft landing to the prospects that you have initially deemed to be unqualified, so that you can still squeeze out as much revenue from them as possible. That's number one. And almost all of this revenue will be very high margin because you're not doing an actual service for them and for them. Number two, on top of squeezing out potential revenue from them, high margin revenue from them, you want to keep them in your ecosystem. Because even if they are not qualified now, if you keep them in your ecosystem and use your product, your content, and your engagement, you use yourself and your content and your products and your solutions to nurture them, educate them continually, and re-engage them using your newsletter and your email flows, because they are in your email list, and until and unless they unsubscribe because you spammed them with valueless content, which you should not do, of course. You will be able to keep them in your ecosystem and nurture them so that they are more likely to buy from you and not your competitors when they have actually graduated enough to be qualified for your main service offering in the future. And because you've given them so much value in other ways that were more suited for them at that time and place and situation of their lives, you will also have triggered a sense of trust and indebtedness in them, which further makes them likely to buy from you and not your competitors. And you'll be able to ideally redirect a large chunk of these initially unqualified prospects that you would have just let go, in most cases, back into your one-time productized service or recurring main service, however you structure it. We'll get into that in a later training, perhaps. You'll get them back into your main service offering, and then, of course, be able to monetize them again, this time through your main service offering, and then sell them on a recurring service for a large lifetime value. Another thing that you might notice that I have not yet addressed is the referrals here and the affiliate and referral networks that I said I'd address at the end of this video. Now, a very, very high, almost 100% margin way of generating more revenue for your business in addition to these paid products and your main service offering is through the use of affiliate links that you will use to pack into your lead magnets, your free content, and your paid products to further liquidate the cost of setting up this funnel, because your target should be to build as self-liquidating a funnel as possible. Your webinars and workshops should also redirect to affiliate links. So for instance, if we go back to the cold email lead gen agency example, if you build a lead magnet built around teaching your prospect how to source the ideal client prospect, buyer personas and all of that, and how to build a lead list, you can very naturally include an affiliate link to software like Apollo or listkit.io. I would highly recommend Listkit, not Apollo. That is one example. Another thing I mean by affiliate and referral networks is, of course, sending the prospects that are not qualified for your service to complementary services to people with other agencies that you've partnered with using your cold outreach. So we use cold outreach not just to reach out to prospects that we want to sell our offer to, but also to other agencies that sell complementary services to ours, so that we can partner with them and we refer initially unqualified clients to them, and they also do that for us in return. What all of this together allows you to do is build so many other streams of high margin revenue for your business, cash flow for your business, that further stabilizes your business, turns it into a more robust business, gives you higher margins, better cash flow, and increases your enterprise value. Now, to really consolidate everything that we've covered so far, let me just break down how all three of these problems are addressed when you build out this complete funnel. When you build out your content and your outreach and your ads in a way where you're able to upsell them to ensure that you can run your ads sustainably and profitably, even sometimes, instead of just breaking even, you ensure that you are directing ample attention to your offer and to yourself, so that people will know that you exist and they will be continually aware that you exist and not just see you in passing at one glance. Because if you do your content right, if you do your ads right, if you do your long form content right, you can direct them to lead magnets, paid products, and unique transformations from the content, from the attention that you've captured, and cause them to opt in, give up their contact information so that you can then bridge them, collect their contact information and add them to your newsletter so that you can then send them regular cadence email flows 3 to 5 to 7 times a week, in fact, so that you always stay top of mind, so that they're always aware that you exist and that you have a particular offer in the market that you're offering, so that when they do buy, when they do feel like buying, when the problem really bites them, they buy from you and not from your competitor. Next, the problem that you have of not enough people wanting what you're offering. The way that you build out an offer that people want is by having value in the front end that resonates with what your prospect thinks that they need. So you have valuable content and ads that resonate with what the prospect wants. And the way you know that this is resonating is because you get all of these high click-through rates into your lead magnets and your paid products and your unique transformations. That is a reliable signal that the top of funnel front end content and value that you are giving in the market, reflecting your offer, is something that resonates with what the prospects in the market actually want. So the fact that you get high enough performance and high enough click-through rates into your lead magnets and your paid products is a reliable indicator that you have a front end value / content / offer that resonates with what people want. Now what you need to do is use that as a signal. So if you're not getting high enough click-through rates and you want to get feedback from the market, change it in ways, see if the feedback loop gives you a positive signal, and then double down on it. If it doesn't, change something else and see if that gives you a positive feedback loop, double down on it. So you have to be constantly engaged in this feedback loop with the market. That's the only way. You cannot come up with an offer in a vacuum. And the way you do that with very little cost to yourself is using the free value front-end content in the top of funnel and your paid ads, which is why I said at the very start of this training that paid ads are a tremendous way of teasing out your offer validity, your offer resonance in the market, because success with paid ads reliably shows you that people are actually interested in at least the front end of what you're offering. Now, you cannot stop just there. What you also need to do is, on top of what is in the front end, that's what people want, you also need to have in the back end of your offer built out something that is what the prospect actually needs. Because often, and here I'm speaking from experience here, what often happens is Business owners think, oh, this is enough. As long as I have something that the market wants, that's fine. No, because going back to this example, but modifying this slightly, when a prospect is aware of the problem that they have and they're aware that they want to solve it, they have a bunch of different ways that they think, they conjure up in their heads of how that problem might best be solved. Sometimes they might be correct. Most of often, they won't be. And so it is your duty as the expert in solving that specific problem for your prospect, for your client, to be aware of the mismatch between what your prospect thinks they should want and what they actually need to get the results that they want. Which is why you should not only have something in the front end that people want, but in the back end, you should also build out a service delivery mechanism that actually is what they need so that they get the results that they need to get in order to be satisfied and be recurring clients. And the way you're able to do that is by having all of these, the way that this specific funnel solves that for you is by having all of these feedback loops and long nurture sequences built out so that you can keep aggregating data, keep aggregating feedback from the market and iterating incrementally, because you cannot build a perfect offer in a vacuum. So with this complete funnel, you will never have a lack of attention directed to your offer. You will never come up with an offer. It's physically impossible for you to implement this funnel and do what I'm teaching you and then have an offer that does not resonate with the market. If you iterate continually based on the feedback that you get from the market, which you're only able to collect because you have this top of funnel, the bridge, and the middle of funnel built out effectively, which is why you're able to get, collect, and aggregate data from the market over a long period of time so that you're always attentive to what the market's changes are. You're able to build an offer that people actually want in the front end and want and need in the back end as well. And then, because you are giving them so much value and because the lead magnets that you are built around solving these micro objections and built around being in flow, being readable, being implementable, being valuable, actually valuable. Keep in mind there's 3 litmus tests that we showed. The $50 to $75 litmus test value. Would you actually pay money for this? Does the writing in your lead magnet flow? Does your lead magnet have at least 5 points of actionable value that they can implement the minute they stop engaging with the lead magnet, the minute that they finish going through the lead magnet? If you get all those 3 things right, you will have lead magnets that are actually valuable. You'll have paid products that are actually valuable, because paid products are just a higher end version of your lead magnets and unique transformations bundled into one. The same goes for unique transformations. You will be building up trust in the market around your offer. That, combined with the fact that you're constantly engaging with your market, your prospects, and they're constantly being nurtured through your newsletter, which also occasionally, by the way, should redirect to the long form nurturing content, process selling VSLs, trainings, etc., that you put out on a long form platform like YouTube, just like this video that you're watching. That ensures that you cement yourself as a trustworthy, authoritative, and expert and competent figure in the prospect's mind. This is further established through webinars and workshops. And again, this entire funnel is just so magnificent because it's just timeless, built on fundamental principles of feedback loops. The way you know that the people think that the people actually trust you is because they are opting in, giving up valuable information, their name, phone number, revenue number, employee size, employee count, etc., to actually get into these webinars and workshops, which again are long form content. So you're not getting cheap attention anymore, just like you might get away with in these top of funnel platforms. And then not only have you solved these three problems because people now trust you, they can't help but trust you. Also, another added layer of solution that you've added to these two problems is through this redirecting mechanism. Because even if they are initially unqualified for your service or offering, instead of breaking up engagement, breaking up trust, you actually build more trust by helping them in other ways that are more appropriate for their current situation, time, and place and needs. So, and then that also, as I said already, allows you to nurture them continuously in this feedback loop through your newsletter, through your webinars and workshops, and through these ancillary offers. You are able to nurture them further and further, build more and more trust until they are actually qualified. And by packing in affiliate and partnership links in every single step of this process, you add an extra tertiary layer of very, very high margin, reliable, consistent recurring revenue for your business, further consolidating your cash flow base, increasing your enterprise value, and giving you that treasure chest, that war chest, that capital necessary, the cash flow necessary to reinvest in ads, scaling content, scaling outreach, to get the funnel working yet again, reiterating, getting better and better with every cycle of the iteration, dialing in every single step iteratively, and growing predictably. Now, I did not use this video to address the fourth bonus problem that is really often the main hidden bottleneck, in that the founder himself or herself does not have enough clarity, focus, flow, or productivity or systems in place to ensure that they can actually do what they need to do after they know what it is that they must do. I'll make separate videos on that, and I have an entire framework built around cultivating clarity, focus, and flow. I'll build separate videos on that. And I'll also put out separate videos going in depth into every single aspect of this entire funnel, because this video is just a high level overview of this entire funnel, so that in the future videos, when you engage with them, you can actually see where the individual pieces and how the individual pieces fit into place. I hope you found this valuable, and I hope you can see how building out this simple, effective, essential, core, complete funnel can allow you to address these three core revenue killing poisonous problems for good, forever, and scale your business, your agency, your B2B business, your SaaS, your consulting or coaching offer to the next level consistently and predictably, beyond $1 million in ARR in the next 6 to 12 months. I hope you found this valuable. And if you want to get this entire funnel built out for you and work one-on-one with me, there will be a link to book in a call with me, and we can get on a call and have a quick chat. There'll be a link to book in a call with me in the description, and you can go ahead and do that. That will also work as a free one-on-one consultation call that you can enjoy with me. And if we decide to work together, if I think we're a good fit, I'll be able to build out this entire funnel for you and give you templatized, productized ways to scale iteratively every single aspect of this entire funnel in the form of a plug and play mechanism playbook that's completely tailored specifically to your business, to your offering, so that you can enjoy systematized and productized growth unlike anything you've ever seen. And we'll be able to build that out for you, my team and I, within 24 hours of onboarding. And you'll get 12 months of access to real-time one-on-one feedback with me in a private comms channel through Slack. And you'll get real-time feedback on everything. And I will walk you through and build out the systems that you need for every single step of this funnel to get you to $1 million in ARR and beyond in the next 6 to 12 months. So if that sounds interesting, you can book in a call with me. The link will be in the description. You can also reach out to me in my Instagram and my Twitter or X. That'll also be linked in the description below. And subscribe to the channel. I will be putting out content regularly every day diving into each and every single aspect so that you have all of the information needed to really see the solution that you need to get rid of these three core problems and scale your business to the next level. I appreciate you giving me your time and attention. I hope this is valuable, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.